Hey guys, HackerSploit here, back again with another video. Welcome back to the OSCP prep series. We will be going through all the boxes you can actually do on Hack the Box and VulnHub in order to prepare you for the OSCP. And this particular video, we're going to be taking a look at FristiLeaks on VulnHub. So the link to this particular box will be in the description section, and the write-up will be up on our blog at hssploit.com. So this is a relatively simple box, but one that has various stages and has a lot to do with reverse engineering and privilege escalation, or multiple privilege escalation, which was quite fun actually. So the purpose of this video is to actually take you through the box and to sort of explain or break down the important sections throughout the box. All right, so if you just take a look at the web page here on VulnHub, you can get some information about the type of the box and the style. So the style is enumeration and follow the breadcrumbs, so more so based on a CTF than a traditional pen testing box. And the objective or the goal is to get root or root access and to get the flag file. All right, so we're supposed to get the root access and to get the flag, which you can only get by getting root access. All right, so I hope that is simple. I already have this VM set up on VirtualBox and we're ready to get started. I've already saved the Nmap scan so that we can save the time there. So I'm just going to browse into my home directory, my desktop, and into the FristiLeaks folder. And I have the Nmap scan right over here. So I'm just going to display the Nmap scan and we can take a look at the ports that are currently open. All right, so this is the Nmap scan here. And as you can see, these are the parameters or the scan options that I've specified. It's quite a comprehensive scan. And as you see, I saved the results into the TXT file. And we currently only have one port open, which is a web server running Apache. And we also get some operating system information, like we can see it's running CentOS, some version of CentOS. And we also have the PHP version, which is PHP version 5.3.3. So both Apache and the PHP version are quite outdated, as this box is quite old now and hasn't been updated. In regards to the Linux kernel, we can see it's running a Linux kernel in between the range of 2.6.32 and version 3.10. All right, so that really doesn't give us anything additional or any useful information that we can use moving forward, apart from the fact that we now know what operating system we're dealing with. So you can see we also get the robots.txt entry, which gives us the information in regards to 3 disallowed entries, and they are cola, sissy, and beer. All right, so let's get started and let's try and access the IP address. It's currently on my local network with the IP of 192.168.1.104. I'm going to hit enter, and as you can see, we are greeted by the FristiLeaks web page here. And it tells us keep calm and drink Fristi, and we can actually view the source of this particular page. So again, we can just view the page source here. We get some information. So welcome to FristiLeaks, a quick hack me VM and we have a Twitter handle. So the goal is to get use ID 0 or root and read the special flag file. The time frame should be doable in 4 hours, and we have the random content here on the page and the image itself right over here. So we also have an images directory which we can actually traverse directly here. So let's actually try and inspect this, and there you are. If we try and perform some additional directory traversal, we are unable to do that. Let's try and access the robots.txt file where we have the disallowed entries. So you can see we have cola, sissy, and beer. All right, so let's try them out right now. So again, 192.168.1.104, cola, and that gives us a meme image telling us that this is not the URL we were looking for. Interesting. All right, so we have sissy and beer, right? And we still get the same result, and beer. And yeah, that doesn't give us anything apart from this little image here. All right, so this is interesting now because we really do not have anything to work from. So let's try and perform some brute force. Perform brute force directory brute forcing here. So I'll use dirbuster for this. And you can also use dirb or gobuster. It's all up to you. So there we are. We actually opened up 2 instances. So I'll paste in the URL here. We'll keep that at 100 threads, and we'll say user share, and we'll go to the word list directory here. Word lists, dirbuster, directory list medium, and you can also use the dirb, the Apache vulns if you want to use that as well, but that's primarily for fuzzing. So let's start and let's see what directories we get. So we get the images directory, which we're already aware of. icons, this I pretty much going to be for Apache. So this has all the Apache icons here, and that's more to do with the Apache installation than anything else. We can try and run Nikto here. So I'm going to say Nikto H, and we'll just run Nikto here. Let's check out Debuster one more time. We get the bear directory, which again is pretty much, we already know what we're getting. So let's take a closer look at this web page and let's see if we've missed anything. So we can see that we get information like Twitter handles, and we get FristiLeaks mentioned quite a bit, or Fristi, the word Fristi. All right, so let's actually try and perform some guesswork here. So again, if we type in FristiLeaks, that doesn't give us anything. Let's see if we can try Fristi here. And yeah, if we type in Fristi, you can see that we get a an admin panel here, or a login portal that we can actually try and log in with. So let's view the source here as well, and we get some very interesting content. Let's see if we have got anything else with Debuster. Nothing so far. So I'm just going to pause this for a second, and let's see if our results with Nikto. We can see that we get pretty much the same entries we got here: cola, CC, and beer. PHP is outdated. We already knew that. And we have some directory indexing here for images, icons, and the README file. So nothing of importance here. So let's take a look at the content here on this particular login panel, because it looks like some very interesting information. So we have the description and the content here. So the content is a super leet password login test page. So I'm guessing it's a pretty simple login page with PHP. So we use base64 encoding for images, so they are inline in the HTML. All right, so they're encoding the images with base64 so that they're inline, which as you can see is justified here. So let's see, I read somewhere on the web that that's a good way to do it. All right, so we also have a comment here left by the developer, and his name is Easy Peasy, I believe. So to do, we need to clean this up for production. I left some junk in here to make testing easier. All right, so this looks like a base64 encoded image, which when you try and open it, we can see it is an image file. So again, if we say view image, and it's going to prompt us to save the image, and you can see base64 encoded without the extension, but it is the raw data itself, right? So let's actually see if we have any more information here that we can get. So this is quite some a bit of information. So it looks like he was right when he said he included some information for testing. And at the bottom, we can see we have a commented piece of base64 code or encrypted data here. So let's try and copy this and try and decode it, and let's see what we get. So I'll use the base64 decoder. So again, we can first of all just save this in a file here. So I'm going to call the file encoded.txt, and let's paste this in here. And what we'll do is we'll save that, and we'll say base64. Let's actually clear this up. Base64. Let me expand this, and we want to decrypt, and we want to specify the file. The file is going to be encoded.txt, and we want to output this into another file. So we're going to say decoded.txt and hit enter. And now if we cat the contents of the decoded.txt file, we can see that we have a file header telling us this is a PNG file and some random content or context. So you can see that there isn't much information that makes sense here, and that's primarily because this is a PNG file. So let's actually change this file from txt to PNG. So decoded.png, and I'm going to hit enter, and let's see if we can actually access this file. So decoded.png. So if we try and view this PNG file, so we're actually on my desktop, VulnHub, FristiLeaks, decoded.png. We get some text, which is very interesting. So it looks like it's just some random K's and E's, both lowercase and uppercase. So let's see if we can actually get the information from this through an OCR, online OCR platform. So OCR online, let's see if we can get some website to actually do this for us. Let's see this website here. If this website can do it for us, yeah, we can convert it. So let's specify the file. It's a PNG file, and we want to convert it into a text plain text file. So I'm going to convert this, and we get this text right over here. All right, so that's pretty much that. Now let's take a look at some other information. In regards to the login form, using any SQL bypass technique will not work, and you can pretty much enumerate this or test this out. So it's pretty well secured that way. So it looks like we have got a username and password combination that we can try out, and that is of course the user easy peasy, and also the password, which looks to be this base64 image where we're able to get that sequence of characters or that string. So let's actually try this out. So this is going to be the user here. So let's try this out. This is the user, and the password is going to be this right over here, which I was able to get. So copy, and we're going to paste this in right over here, and it log in, and immediately tells us the login was successful. All right, so it gives us an option to upload a file. So let's click on that, and it looks like a simple upload, PHP upload form here, or a simple PHP upload system. So if we click on upload image, we can see, sorry, it's not a valid file. Only allowed file types are PNG, JPG, GIF, and the file was not uploaded. All right, so it looks like we can get our access through this upload form if we try and upload a PHP reverse shell. So let me get that going. So PHP reverse shell, and we'll use the one from Pentest Monkey just to keep things standardized so that you guys can also recreate this if you're following along. So I'll get this right over here. We're going to save the file, and what I'll do is we have it in our downloads folder here. We also have another one, so let me just get rid of this one. We can extract it here, and sorry, that's the compressed file. We have the PHP reverse shell here. What I'm going to do is let's actually just copy it back to our desktop and into the FristiLeaks folder here, and let's modify it slightly. So back into my terminal, and we'll use Vim here, and we can see that this is quite a standardized one. We just want to change the IP here. We'll leave the port to 1234. So we'll change this to our local IP, or the IP of the Kali VM. So ifconfig, we can see it's 192.168.1.106. Excellent. So we'll change it to that, 192.168.1.106, and we will save this, and let me write the changes to the file. Also, let's try and upload it like this. Hopefully this this admin or this upload system will allow us to upload PHP directory. So I'm just gonna go back, browse VulnHub FristiLeaks. Sorry, we actually specified the PNG file. So PHP reverse shell. Open this up. I'm gonna hit upload, and it's gonna tell it. It has some filtering, so it's gonna tell us, sorry, this is not a valid file. Only allowed PNG. So again, we get that warning. So what we can do is we can say PHP reverse shell. We're going to call this shell.php.png, and yeah, we're going to change the extension to php.png, and let's see if this is able to bypass the filtering that's going on here. I'm going to hit open and upload image, and it looks like it's done, and it's uploaded it to uploads. So that's going to be Fristi uploads and shell.php.png. All right, so let's close this up here, and let's see if this actually works. So 192.168.1.104, we have Fristi, and we have uploads, and we also have shell.php.png, and if we hit enter, yeah, it looks like this works. Let's see if this actually gives us a reverse shell. I'll set up a listener here. So we're going to say netcat nvlp1234. And that's the port we had specified. So if you specify your own, make sure to actually set that correctly. So I'm going to reload, and immediately we get a shell here with no job control, and we have the user ID is Apache. So we're currently logged in as the Apache user, which is a system account. So let's try, what directory are we in? We are in the actual root directory, not the user root directory. Let's see what kernel version we are running. We are running version 2.6.32. Any more information? Let's see which users we have on this system. Password, and we have 3 users here. We have admin, fristigod, and fristi. All right, so we also have easy peasy, which I don't think we are logged in. We are currently logged in as Apache. So again, if we type in ID here, we have Apache. Yep. So let's see if we can actually access the root directory. So yeah, permission denied. Let's see the home directory here. If we have any user directories for these particular users. Yeah, let's check this out. So we have the admin user. We have easy peasy and fristigod. Let's try and access the admin user. Permission denied. Let's try easy peasy. So that's easy. That is easy. Peasy. Let's hit enter and oops, sorry, that is cd. There we are. Let's list the files in here. So we have quite a few files. Some of these look like particular binaries. So we have the bash profile, no particular aliases here. We have a change group, chmod. So these look like binaries that we can use. Let's see what other files we have here. We have a notes.txt file, and these look like other binaries as well. All right, so let's see the contents of these notes, of this notes.txt file, notes.txt. I'm going to hit enter, and we got a note from Jerry. So it tells us, yo, easy. I made it possible for you to do some automated checks, but I did only allow you to access the user bin directory where we have the system binaries. Okay. I did, however, copy a few extra often needed commands to my home directory. So the home directory has chmod, df, cat, echo, ps, grep, egrep. So you can use those commands from home admin. All right. So, okay. So the home admin has the following binaries that you can use. You can actually use from the home admin directory. Don't forget to specify the full path for each binary. So we need to specify the full path. So home admin chmod, for example, or we can use the user bin folder. It looks like we can execute them as well. Just put a file called run this in the temp in the tmp folder. Each line 1 command, the output goes to the file cron result in the temp folder. It should run with every minute with my account privileges. So it looks like we have a cron job running here, and all the commands should be put in the in a file called the run this file, which exists in the temp folder. All right, so let's try and list all the files in the temp folder if we have any. So we don't have a file yet, which means we need to actually create the run this file. And the run this file will then execute the commands that we want to with the particular binaries that we have, right? So this is very interesting because let's see what binaries we have. So in the admin folder, we have home. This is in the home admin directory. We don't have permission to view this. Let's see if we can view the user bin directory. So we have all of these binaries which we can use, but we need to pass these commands, and the actual command that we want to execute, we need to pass it to the run this that will actually run it with some privileges and the admin user privileges. It looks like we have the Python binary, so we have a version of Python installed, so we have Python 2. So that means that we can specify, or we can upload a shell, and we can get it to be executed by the cron, and as it said, it runs it every minute, right? So let's actually do that right now. So we'll go into the temp directory here, and we want to get a Python reverse shell. All right, so we'll just say Python reverse shell, and we can use the one from High on Coffee. I believe they have a great one here which you can modify. So we're looking for the Python. Can we use bash? No, bash doesn't, the binary is in the bin bash. So again, we can use Python. Where is Python? There we are. So we can use this. What I'm going to do is, let's see if we can actually create it. So I'm going to say vim, we're going to say shell.py, and we're going to just paste this in here. And since we're executing it with the actual binary, what we can do is we can sort of format this correctly. We can say, let's see, we can get rid of the Python C here because we're going to be running it with a binary directly. So we'll keep the imports separate. So there we are. We'll separate that, and the object, so the connection is made here. We need to change the IP. So I'll change this to 192.168.1.106. That is the attacker IP. And I'll change the port to 4444 because we're currently listening on one of the ports. So let's structure this correctly here. And yes, we're going to call upon the process here. So that is going to give us a shell here. And you can change this to bin bash. Hopefully, I wonder if this can give us a bash shell. Let's see if it actually does. So I'm going to write and quit here. And we want to upload this. So I'm going to use the Python simple HTTP server. So Python simple HTTP server, and we want to just open it in this current directory that we're working with. So port 8000. Okay, so let's let's get this file here. So do we have we can try and use wget here, 192.168.1.106 and port 8000. So shell.py, and yes, we were able to get it. All right, so if we list the file now, you can see we have the py shell here. So we need to actually execute or put this command to execute this shell.py in the run this file. All right, so this this can be done. We can use echo. We can create the file manually, but what we can do is we can say echo. We'll say user bin. And we specify the actual binary that we want to use, which is going to be Python, right? So we're going to say user bin Python, and then the location of or the file that we want to execute. So it's like we're saying Python, and then the file that we want to execute, which is obviously going to be a Python file. So we're going to say this is the temp folder. So we're going to say shell.py, and then we can close this, and we say we want to direct this output into the run this file. And then before we actually do this, let's close this web server. And what we want to do is we want to set up the netcat listener. So nvlp 4444, hit enter, and we're going to listen on that before we run it. All right, I'm going to hit enter, and if we list now, we can see we have the run this file, but we're also supposed to get the results, the cron results, another file being automatically created. So let's wait for a minute and let's see if we get any reverse shell here. Alright, so I've been waiting for about a minute and it looks like we haven't got one yet. However, if we list the files within this directory, in the temp directory, you can see we get the cron result. So cron result, if we just cat it, you can see it's executing the shell. However, I think there is something wrong with this particular shell, I think because we specified shell.py here. So what we can do is if we also cat the contents of run this, you can see we get that particular command that we specified. So what we can do here is we can actually just modify this file. So I'm just going to say vim shell.py here. Sorry, not sim, we want vim shell.py. I'm going to hit enter. We're just going to change this back into sh or shell, and I'm gonna write the changes here, and we're gonna run the simple HTTP server one more time here. I'm gonna remove the shell.py file from here, and what we're gonna do is we're simply just gonna say wget HTTP 192.168.1.106, and this is port 8000, and we're looking for shell.py. Right, and I'm going to hit enter, and we get the file. And now let's just close this up here, and let's set up the listener one more time, and let's see if we are able to get this again here. So I'm just going to list again all the files here. Let's take a look at the cron result. So it executed it one more time again. We'll just wait for it to execute it again so we can see if this is working. Alright, so it looks like after a minute we were able to get it this time. And again, we don't have any job control for this particular shell. We check the user we're currently logged in as, you can see we are currently logged in as admin. So let me print the working directory. You can see we are in the home directory for the user admin. So let's list all the files within this, and we can see that we have fewer files, and of course we have the binaries that we were told we had in the notes. That was with the user Apache, left for that particular user, or the user easy peasy. So we haven't logged in as the user easy peasy, but we have gone directly to admin. So we can see we have the various binaries. We also have the cronjob.py. Let's actually see the value or the content in this particular file. So cronjob.py, you can see that yes, it does run a cron job, and then with the run this command, you can see if line starts with home admin or the line starts with user bin, check for the pipeline, and then it checks for the parameters within the various parameters you specify. So I think so for example, if you specify the binary Python, it then checks for the other parameters. All right, so that is essentially the cronjob.py. We also have a encrypted pass.txt. So encrypted pass.txt. Let's hit enter, and that looks like an encrypted password, as it says. We then have the cryptpass.py. All right, so cryptpass.py. I'm going to hit enter. Oh, sorry, we want to actually cat the cryptpass.py. And we can see that we have a Python script here that is encoding a string. So it encodes a string, and then it has a variable base64 string which converts the string into base64, and then the return value is then encoded. It encodes the base64 string itself into ROT13. All right, so this is very interesting. Let's just see what other files we have here. We also have a whoisyourgodnow.txt file. So again, we can just cat this whoisyourgodnow.txt. I'm going to hit enter, and it looks like it's another encrypted password or some encrypted data. So it looks like we have the Python encryptor here, which looks quite simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this code, and let's see if we can reverse engineer this simple Python script. All right, so what I'll do is let me just exit here, and we'll go back into our FristiLeaks directory, and we're going to say vim and we're just going to call it decode.py, and let's paste this in here, and let's see what's going on. So again, it's very simple. This is in Python 2. So we can see that we're importing the base64 libraries, codecs, and the system library. So we can pretty much see we have a function called encodestring that has the parameter string that is going to be returned or uses the return value. We then have the variable base64 string, which again is first converting the string into base64. The return value, which is the base64 encoded string, is then furthermore encoded into ROT13, right? So we then have another variable called crypto result, which is going to be equal to encoded string. So again, that is going to be displayed as crypto result here. So again, we can pretty much the variable or the value, the return value is going to be printed out, which is essentially the encrypted string now. So we want to sort of change this instead of encoding into decoding, right? So let's see how we can do this. So the function is pretty simple. We need to understand the order of the encoding here. So it first encodes base64 and then ROT13. So our first priority is to decode ROT13, right? So what we can say is we can get rid of this line here, and we can get rid of the return value as well here. And what we can say is we can just bring the 1 2 3 4, there we are. And for this we can say let's call it decode. A variable decode is going to be equal to codex.encode, but we want to decode this, so we're going to say decode. This is going to be a string, because we do not because it isn't a base64 string, it's ROT13. We can get rid of this, so that is going to be ROT13. I believe that will decode ROT13 first, and then now it's going to be base64. So then we can say the return value is going to be base64.decode. So base64 decode, base64 decode, and then the value which we are passing is going to be the variable decode here. So decode, and that should be that, and we can keep the crypto result is going to be equal to encode string, and then it's going to print that out. So that looks fine. So let's try and run this. So what we're going to do is let's see if we can actually let's actually print, let's see if we can decode this string right over here. So the string in who is your god now.txt. So let's try and run this file. So we have python decode.py, and then we have the actual string, and we hit enter, and it looks like we have an error here, invalid syntax. Let's take a look at this one more time. So codex.decode, yes, we do not, we need, sorry about this, we did not specify it is a string, sorry about that. And let's save this and let's try it now. We hit enter, and it gives us the string let there be fristy ! So that's one of these actual decoded strings. What about the other one that we actually got? This is the string right here. Let's actually get the results for this as well. So python decode.python, and let's paste the string here. Let's hit enter, and it tells us this is also a PW, which I means password 123. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That looks like it is. Let's see if we still have access on this shell. Yes, we do. So we pretty much don't have anything else that we can access here. Let's take a look at the users one more time. Password. We can see that we have the admin user, which we are currently logged in as. We have the other user, Fristy, which I don't think we can log into. We have fristigod that looks like we can actually access here. So let's try and access fristigod with these credentials. So sudo fristigod. I'm going to hit enter. Standard in must be a TTY. Oh yeah, we need to spawn a TTY shell here. So let's see, bin no job control. Can we invoke it with Python? Let's try Python. We specify the shell here, and yeah, let's try and run this. So it looks like that worked. Let's try and now log in back to fristigod. Fristigod, hit enter. So yeah, we are able to do it now. Let's see which password works. Let's try this one here. We're gonna try this out. Hit enter. This is the incorrect password. So fristy again, fristigod. Let's try the other one. This is going to be let there be fristy. Let's paste this in here. Hit enter, and we get a bash shell. So if we hit ID here, we can see that again we get the ID as fristigod. So we're currently logged in as the user fristigod. All right. So we're currently in the home admin directory. Let's go back here. Let's see if we can access the fristigod directory. Fristigod. If we list the files in here, we can see that we have no files. We have the bash profile and the bash rc configuration file. All right, so let's try and find any files located or that belong to this particular user. So we can use find, and we specify the patterns. So we can say find user, and then we specify the usernames, which is going to be fristigod, and we can grep this and say we're looking for fristigod, and we want to hit enter, and let's just wait for this to load up here. All right, so we have it looks like we have a directory in the var directory, so fristigod. We also have the bash history, which seemingly is in this var folder. And we also have another folder here called var secret admin stuff, fristigod secret admin stuff. So let's go into this var folder, and if we list all the files here, we have the fristigod folder here. Let's list the files in here. AL, we have bash history and secret admin stuff. Let's see what is in the bash history file. We hit enter. You can see that we have, all right, so this is where it begins. So the user cats, that was actually us. So print working directory, list all the files, cd into secret admin stuff. So that is a directory. List of files. Then he executes a do.com binary, do.com binary and a second parameter, which is test, and then lists the files, logs out or exits, again logs in and enters the secret admin stuff directory, executes the do.com binary, and then runs sudo as the user fristi, and runs do.com and lists the file. So it looks like this, we are running, we can run sudo, we can run root commands, or we can run certain commands with root privileges as the user fristi. I've explained this in depth. You can actually check this out in my sudo bypass vulnerability, where I explain running particular commands as a different user or on behalf of another user. So it looks like we can execute this do.com binary here that allows us to run commands as root here. So let's actually try this out. So we can check the secret admin stuff. Let's list the files in here. So we have the do.com binary. Let's see if we can execute it like so without changing our user to fristi. And again, it tells us nice try, but wrong user. All right, so it looks like the user is executing root commands or some commands as the user fristi. So let's see if we can actually do this. Let's see if we can actually get a shell. We can use the Python binary again, although I'm not sure that will work. I think, yeah, we can actually just run the Python binary. What we can do is, let's actually modify this shell.python, the reverse shell here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to port 1234 and 1234 like so, and we're just going to exit this, and we'll set up the Python server here, or we can actually just run it one more time. Python m simple HTTP server. We'll run this here. We are currently in this working directory. Let's see if we can actually save it to this directory. So wget http 192.168.1.106, and then the port 8000 and shell.py. Hit enter. Yes, we're able to save it. Let's list all the files in here. So yes, it saves as the user fristigod, and this file belongs to the root user. But we can see the permissions here, and of course it looks like we can run various root commands as the user fristi. So what I'm going to do here is we need to actually run it as this particular with this particular do.com. I think it means do command. Let's run it. We need to run it with this particular binary file. So the way to do this is we need to run it as the user fristi. So sudo user fristi, I believe that's the correct spelling, fristi, and then we need to specify the directory of the binary. So we're going to say this is var fristigod, and then this is the secret admin directory, I believe. So secret admin stuff. Yeah, that's the actual directory. So secret admin stuff. And then we want to execute do.com, and then the second variable is going to be the binary that we want to use. So that's going to be, the binary is going to be user bin python, because this is a Python shell. And then the file that we want to execute is going to be shell.py. So we need to specify this one more time. So we're going to say, let's just copy this to save time, and I'm just going to paste this here. And we're going to say shell.py, and hopefully this executes. Before we do this, let's set up a listener here. So netcat nvlp, and we'll say 1234, and let's hit enter. And now let's hit enter here, and it asks us for this the password for fristigod, which was I can't believe I didn't save it. The password was we have to actually run the Python file one more time. Oh my god, man! And we need those particular strings. I can't even remember the password. Oh my god, man! All right, so this is the string. Yeah, so we have it right over here. So let there be fristy. Sorry, I actually thought I missed out on these ones and I didn't save them. So we're just gonna enter this here. And we'll enter the password for fristigod. We're going to hit enter. Let's see if the listener, we're able to get a shell, and immediately, yes, we're able to get a shell. We hit ID, and we are currently running as the user root, and we belong to the group users, groups, and of course fristigod here. So let's see if we can browse to the root directory. Yes, we can, and we have FristiLeaks1.3. So again, let's print this out. So FristiLeaks.txt. I'm going to hit enter, and congratulations on beating FristiLeaks 1.0. I wonder if you beat it in 4 hours. It's supposed to take blah blah blah, and this is the flag. You know you love Fristi, and that's it. So that's pretty much it for this box, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions regarding anything I covered here or any of these stages in regards to privilege escalation and reverse engineering, let me know in the comment section on my social networks. The write-up for this particular box will be on our blog at HackerSploit.com, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.